Okay, so if we've got a minute.
Yes, Margie, can I just ask, darling, so were you going to share how practitioners are building their business
Yes.
on the side? Then maybe that's something that you won't record.
That you won't or will?
Will not.
Well, that's why I thought perhaps because this is off the record, I won't record it.
I agree.
I think if it's for anybody who's on the call can take it back to their team as opposed to it being as a recording that can get out. I don't really want that. Because even at the conference or global, it was a closed session.
Yes. So I personally would not record.
Yeah. So it won't be recorded.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay. So let me do my thing here because I'm so good at all these electronics, darling. I'm going to share my screen now. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, it's Margie Hare. I've been with LifeVantage for 4 years, and I was so privileged to have the opportunity to, after going to Croatia, to go to global. It's the first global event for LifeVantage that I've attended, and I was so overexcited. There were times when I was just so engrossed in what was happening, I didn't take any notes. So it was just a very wonderful, wonderful experience. So what I just want to share with you is this meeting was called to meet the LifeVantage Scientific Advisory Board. And what struck me most was the complete diversity. If we just have a quick little look at these amazing, there were 11 of these practitioners. So a lot of us know Brett Brimhall. He's, of course, a chiropractor. Now, this is an amazing doctor, Dr. Nancy Bryan. She's one of the first doctors that I would like to have on a doctor's call, especially when we work into the Philippines, where we are actually targeting doctors because it's well within the legal parameters of how we're going to work there. So this is one of the doctors. She's absolutely awesome. Josie, now for anybody who has any links to Spain and Spanish and anything, all his videos, all his trainings are all in Spanish. So I couldn't understand any of them, but he is an amazing doctor. He was there, he spoke in broken English, but he's awesome. Cherie Gillespie, I think this bird would really relate to you, Rhonda. Her background is nutrition, but later on in the presentation, I've just got a little clip that I want to play of hers. Dr. Goodman, we all know, we've had him since we joined, and he's amazing when it comes to pediatrics, but he is also an awesome teacher. Sean McKee, neuroradiology, also fabulous experience. Dr. Dondi Nettles, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my experience with him while I was there. Melody Rodota, internal medicine, but she's another one I would love to have on. She's a fabulous speaker, an awesome trainer. Sveta Silverman, well, now if there's a doctor with a sense of humor, it's Sveta. She is hysterical. She says it how it is. She doesn't even mind about the language she uses. She just is straight down the line and so solidly grounded. And Dr. Lee Seaward, and there's one more, sorry, my thing is in the way. Okay. So our last one is, oops, there we go. So before I start with Dr. Goodman, I just wanted to mention that the diversity we have here is across all boards. We have 2 family doctors, GPs, we have 2 chiropractors, and every other one is in a different area of expertise. And when they introduced themselves, they all stood in a row like little soldiers in the front of the room. And their warmth was captivating, and what they shared with us. Now, I must just go back one step. My apprenticeship into network marketing was with 2 other companies. And the scientific advisory board was like on a pedestal. You never saw them, you never met them. They could actually have been fake people. But I can tell you right now, LifeVantage, there is nothing fake about the scientific advisory board. they are there not only to support the products that are coming in to support the medical profession, but they are there for us as distributors. All of them, in some way or other, shared how they would be absolutely open to three-way calls, to Zoom calls, to advisory, to asking questions. They were absolutely open to say, here I am, we are here for you. Now, that for me has a huge tick. So the other thing I thought I'd point out, just in case people didn't know, the Scientific Advisory Board is voluntary. So all the work that they do on the product side and on the support side for us distributors, it's all voluntary work. So this Dr. Goodman, as we know, he is an amazing teacher, but I've just highlighted from each person just a couple of things that they said. So NAD is a unique formulation that gives us the ability to live a long and healthy life. He says it's the holy grail in health. So what he pointed out was, we have to lead the way. He said, what we have is real. You've got to know it's real. He said, it's not crap. That's exactly what he said. And he said, other companies have got crap and they think it's real. And they give you the science that backs it, and it's not real science. Whereas here we have real science. He says the purpose for us as distributors is to know the science, read the science, look at the science, but to talk to your customers, talk to your distributors, not to vomit science over them. What he says is you've got to tell the stories, let people understand what the product does. That's what they want to hear. The science is for us to understand and know, not to vomit over people who are really, they firstly don't understand, they don't even the words they don't understand. So don't go there, just don't go there. He said our biggest thing is that 100% increase in sirtuin activity in 24 hours. He said that is absolutely unique. Now, for all the scientific geeks, what he did, he brought a person onto the stage. So we had, I think, 9 people on the stage. Each one of these chemical reactions was a person standing in a specific position on the stage. And when this is without NAD, this first slide, and the arms were locked. So the NAD, which is coming from behind, couldn't get through the blocked arm. Once they took the NAD, everybody who was on the stage showed, and this is what happens. The NAD pathway is activated. And he showed it in such a simple way that it just made it easy. This was one of the final slides. This particular study was the most recent one. And I think it's fabulous because it shows here, I'll just pop that at the top. It shows that in the placebo, just look at the drop. And with the NAD, look at the increase in sirtuin activity. So it's very evident that that is what we're working with, and it's backed by science. Okay.
Sorry, Margie, what was the drop on the first bar?
So the placebo, this drop here is the placebo. They had no increase. In fact, they had a decrease.
Okay, but what
that's the start, that was the starting point. And in those that took the NAD, that was the increase. And the placebo, it was actually a drop.
Ah, okay. Thanks.
So Dr. Dondi Nettles, oh my word, what an incredible man. He was there with us at Croatia, and at the final dinner, because there were 400 people, I actually didn't bump into him at all during the course of Croatia, except at the final dinner. And he and his wife were sitting at the table next door. I thought, oh my gosh, this is my opportunity. I've got to go and talk to him. So I kept watching until because there were people wanting to talk to him all the time. So I just had to wait, and then I'd get up and someone would get in, then I'd have to go back and sit down. And eventually there he was with his wife and him. And I went to talk to him. He was just so divine. He was so approachable. And again, he reinforced how important it is that you guys are able to approach him. He would love to come to Australia. he was the one that specified if anybody needs a three-way call, if anybody wants to ask a question, all they need to do is get hold of him. So just for all of these doctors, an easy way to contact them, when I've contacted quite a few of them this way already, is to go onto LinkedIn, friend them, and refer to the fact that that you've heard what they said at the Scientific Advisory Board, and that's a very easy way you can be in connection with them, ask them any questions that you need answered or verified or whatever. So they are approachable, and just feel free to do that. And in closing, he said, we are changing history, be part of it. So this next one is one of my most favorite doctors. She is so funny. So she did highlight the fact that prevention is the best cure. But what she said, I can't even begin to transcribe to you, because she speaks so fast and she's so funny that it was difficult to capture everything. But she said everything, it's all about mitochondrial health. And she went into great detail about the the white and brown fat. And just to sum it up in really quickly, with the fat cells that just sit, they accumulate toxins. That's where the trouble comes. If we're able to change the white fat into brown fat, that is when the toxins are released into the mitochondria and it can be got rid of. And with that comes this overall 5% overall drop in fat. And that's what we want to achieve. So obviously what she's talking about is the combination in the US. They are using fat burn and NAD, and they're getting incredible results. And it's not about weight loss. It's about losing fat. And in the fat is stored the toxins, and that's what we need to get rid of. She said, because the fat needs to be broken down and it needs to be carried to the mitochondria. So she said that ATP energy that we get, that's the energy that's required to do that change from white fat to brown fat. The one thing she highlighted was Sinitrol. Now, you'll all know what that is. It's one of the ingredients in our products. And it allows the chemical reaction to take place, to break down the fat, to free the fatty acids, and as a complete protein. And that heat production gives us the deliverance. She says this whole exercise, it gives our metabolism a wake-up call. And she said that's our job, to give our metabolism and allow our patients to have a wake-up call when they are stuck with their health. And she closed off by saying, all of these specifically in this area, it works better when you've got a healthy diet. People know they need to eat healthy, but we need to, as practitioners, stress that if they are not on a healthy diet, they're not going to get the results that we are sharing and predicting that will happen. They need to make that necessary change to have a healthy diet to get the best result possible. Dr. Brimhall, I really liked him. He's so practical and down to earth. In the business, we have to learn to lead other people, to help other people by telling stories, because they are 20 times more effective than facts. So as a chiropractor, he's certainly on the nose there. And he finds that's the best way to bring his customers across the line, by sharing stories. Cherie Gillespie. Now, this is the one, she's a fabulous holistic nutritionist. And she says, heal the gut, heal the brain. I'm going to show you a little clip about her later on, just when we finished, just before we finish. Oops. Okay. So, Dr. Jean, remarkable tri-synergy, scientifically proven, we are activating. And she says, all competition is supplements. So she said, you need to stand on the high ground and know that we are in the winning position. Dr. Sean McKee. So she's a neuroradiologist. Her focus, she works with the family practice. She feels that vitality and wellness is the most important at the top of everything in her practice. And she's the one that really spelled out. She said, people know they've got to eat better and exercise more. Anybody can do it. It's not difficult. Everybody wants the magic pill. But this is where we need to come into place. We can tell them about Protandim. We can give it to them. If they don't eat better and they don't exercise, they're not going to get the results that are required. So this is our biggest lesson to come out of all of this. Even though we've got the magic pill, there's other work to be done at the same time. So she went on to talk about liquid collagen. About True Science liquid collagen, he said, in the latest 8-week placebo double-blind research, it had a massive positive effect. He says, I will be on it for the rest of my days. And he just highlighted some of the things: the skin moisture, texture, crow's feet, collagen density. And all of that is possible because the elasticity of the skin is improved. And he said some of the really radical signs of aging in the older person is bleeding under the skin, skin tears, bruising. All of that can be rectified by this amazing product. So we are excited that it's coming, I must say. So these slides you would have seen already. It's just, they also showed them again, pointing out the skin collagen density. 100% participants noted increase in density. So you can see from 0 week to 8 week, it's massive, absolutely massive. And that's why the results, which are clear here, and that's why these results were possible. So these were actually her results, not hers, but from her practice. So this is the one that I wanted to show you. It's just a quick. How do I get that to a full screen?
Welcome, everyone. I'm Dr. Melody Rodarty, a pro-6 in LifeVantage. I'm double board certified in internal medicine and obesity medicine.
My name is Sherry Gillespie, and I'm a nutritionist and a pro-9 with the company. Melody, let's learn how to flip the switch on gut health with pre and probiotics.
Let me share my screen as we get started. Let's start with a visual. Think of a garden.
I'm sorry, love. I can't find where it's gone. Sorry.
They are living creatures, exchanging oxygen and carbon dioxide, and a part of the environment. These are the probiotics. Like sunshine, rain, soil, and fertilizer, they are there to nurture the garden. They are not alive per se. These are prebiotics. Together, we see symbiosis. Okay, now that we have a visual on a living garden, let's put it in perspective of our body. We have this incredible microbiome that lines the GI tract, which is considered to run from mouth to rectum. This includes the mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestines, and large intestines. Each area has a key job. The microbiome lines this entire distance and is made up of microorganisms that we want to be in balance. Probiotics, which are healthy bacteria, are an integral part of this microbiome and help keep a healthy balance. We want to make sure that they control what is getting in the cell and between the cells, as well as crossing the bloodstream. So now that we have two visuals, what exactly do probiotics do? We need probiotics for multiple functions, such as breaking down foods for absorption and digestion.
So now I don't know how to stop it. I can't find it. Where do I find it?
B and K.
So Margie, if you click Alt-Tab, it will show you what other screens you have open.
Brain needs to know when the body is hungry and when a normal immune response is needed to stay healthy. This is called the gut-brain axis, and it is key to our health. So hopefully we can now see the importance of probiotics in our microbiome. We need to choose the right one that can survive the stomach acid, one that has important strains, and one that is easy to store.
I can't
So
actually, oh, here it is.
ProBio. It does not need to be refrigerated, has biotech technology, a patented control release technology, which is
So can you scroll down?
the strains of bacteria.
So what I've done, I've shared the link here so you can watch it yourselves, but I just can't find it.
We have over 60%.
So I've clicked on the link and it's come up for me. So that's great. Thank you. I'll be able to share that with my team.
I just want to stop it.
Margie, press on your PowerPoint at the bottom of your screen, because you have it in PowerPoint, and I think that's where you're playing it from.
Okay.
Done, Andrea.
Oh, you're a honey, darling. Thank you. There we go. All right. Done. Done. Oh, you're a honey. Okay. So why I wanted to share that is because of those two doctors that were, it's a great interview. That's the link. And the second doctor is Dr. Melanie Rodati. And what she was talking about is the prebiotic, which we don't have here in Australia or in New Zealand or in the Philippines. So that's why I was going to stop it at the halfway point. But it'll just give you an idea of the caliber of these two doctors. So when it comes to Melody Rodati, this is where I think she's really valuable for us. She's such a hands-on doctor. And when she got up to talk to us, she said she's so fed up with the malpractice in the laws that prevent doctors doing what they do. And she said, this is what she did. For 5 years, she worked in a medical practice, which was not her own practice. And for those 5 years, she grew her business outside the practice. After the 5 years, so that was working with friends and family, etc. How did she do that? Every Saturday, she had a lecture. So it was away from the practice, and it was a health lecture and a different subject every time, different aspects of health and so on. So people, her clients and customers and patients got used to going to this venue because obviously it's all geographic, close to where she was, etc., etc. So sometimes she had 5, sometimes she had 15, sometimes she had 20. And all the patients that came into, or all the customers that came into her LifeVantage business were from the lectures, even though they were in the medical practice. So she grew that business outside the medical practice. 5 years later, she then went out on her own. And from day one, when she was out on her own, these are some of the principles that she put in place. She oh man. Sorry, so sorry. These are some of the things she put in place. She firstly made sure all her staff were on the product. So they had a buy into the product. They were also involved. Whenever they referred a patient, they got the benefits. So she calls this the staff buy-in. I thought she was extremely clever. What she did, every month, she changed the displays in her office. One on the coffee table, one on the front desk, some on the windowsills, some on the desk, all different. A product with, say, maybe standing in a fruit bowl, and she showed us examples of the way she changed. So she didn't talk about the product. Her staff didn't talk about the product. But when the customers or the clients asked about the product, that's when they were told about the product, which is very different to the way most of us are working. Well, certainly for me, I tell them about it, but she doesn't. That's what she does. She formed a health supplement consultancy. And from that, is every Saturday she gets her patients to come in and she invites them in to this consultancy for a lecture. And in her closing comment, she said, this can change people's lives. All we need to do is help one person to help another one person. So that is Melody Rodati, which I just thought was just fabulous. And we've had a little bit about Cherie Gillespie. I thought I might just mention Dr. Nancy Bryan. So she is a phenomenal human being. She's a diabetic educator. And although she's trained in pharmacy, she realized during her training, even though she completed it, that this wasn't the way she wanted to go. And she did point out there are times when we need pharmaceuticals, but she said what is most important is to get people to understand there is another way. So she is very sold. And someone asked her the question, why did you join a network marketing company? And she said, it's not only because of the science. She said, I was curious about the science. But she said, it's as a biochemist, which is where she's trained, she's a biochemist. We sometimes have to accept that the pharmaceuticals have their place. But what she believes in with the products we've got, we can restore balance so that people can come off medication. And that's her prime goal in her medical practice, to get people off medication so our bodies can do what they're meant to do. So that's her line of practice. And she speaks from huge experience because she had breast cancer. A couple of years later, they found a melanoma. And she's as well and fit and clear as anything. And she said, what we have is extremely powerful. So she didn't say it healed or cured anything, but she's just saying she comes from a place of knowing what it's done in her life. Okay. At the end of the session, we had a little period of being able to meet other doctors in the audience. And I was lucky enough to come into contact with this fabulous doctor, Dr. Fadwa Galanders. So I have a meeting with her next week. And she is extremely unusual because she comes from a state, Michigan, where they have the same rules that we have here in Australia, that doctors may not recommend non-pharmaceuticals. So her mission is she wants to empower every doctor to take back their power so that they can actually do what they mean to do, recommend what they can so that the body will heal itself, not absolutely have to always recommend pharmaceutical drugs. So what she has done in Michigan, they have formed a PMA, which is a certified organization which doctors then belong to. It's membership based. When their clients or customers or patients come in, they join as a member and they sign a supplement activation agreement that they are accepting responsibility for taking it. So there can be no comeback. So that signature or that piece of paper is quite important. So in her mission to empower doctors again, she said we have to be bold and we have to be proud. So what I'm setting up with Fadwa is to have a Zoom call where we cannot talk to her, well, we can talk to her, but I want us to be able to invite doctors who are sitting on the fence who have not committed yet. And we've got a few of those in the Philippines. So I must be honest, in here in Australia, I had actually given up on doctors and naturopaths and a lot of chiropractors because they don't want to come on board because of the legal ramifications. But Fadwa certainly has the ways and means of actually overcoming that in a legal way. So when I have this meeting, if you are interested to come on this call with her, when we invite doctors, you're most welcome. But I just feel I want to try and just step through it slowly and gently and find my way, because up until now, I have not been successful in that area. And this seems to be a way that we can overcome it. So, well, are there any questions? Oh, none. Good. I hope that was helpful.
That was brilliant, Margie. Thank you so much. And when we were talking, I think was it last week or the week before, I too get all of my clients to actually sign a waiver or a form, because as a nutritional therapist, you know, especially the way that I work, it's not always aligned to everything for mainstream. So I get all of my clients to sign a form to say that they're open to working with me, for one, and looking at products that are potentially off-label and may be deemed as, you know, experimental, etc. But before we would move forward, they would have the full sorry, there's someone breaking through. Oh, Tammy. Hi, Tammy. We can hear you, darling.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, so then that way they have full understanding of what the products are or what the procedure is or the therapist that I would recommend them to, etc. And they sign that. So
Rhonda,
then
would you share that form with us, so it would be at least a step in the right direction for any of us who want to do something similar, which is what they've recommended they do?
Yeah, so obviously it's not legal advice.
No. I need to
put that forward straight up. Yeah, absolutely. So I can send you through like a bit of a template of what I've done. And I too, because I've done most of my training from American practitioners, they too, that's the procedure that they follow, because a lot of my mentors who are pediatricians, GPs, etc., they obviously use pharmaceuticals when they have their place, but majority of them are all natural.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm happy to share that through.
Thanks, Rhonda.
Margie,
yeah.
Continue to the call. Thank you so much for your presentation. Really love listening to you.
I hope that was helpful. I'm sorry that I have a few little technical issues.
I just want to say thank you so much for doing the summary, because as soon as I found out there was a scientific, like a breakout stream for the scientific, for health professionals, you know, doctors, etc., I had such FOMO, because like we were fortunate to meet Dr. Goodman over in Ireland, and then we've met other, you know, doctors and etc. over in Utah for the Pro 5 Summit and all these other things. But yeah, to be in a room with them, that would have been fantastic. Yeah.
It was.
Thank you so much for making the time.
Warm, and they were so welcoming, and I did not expect to have that ability to go back to any one of them with an issue that I had or a question or anything. So it's open to all of us. So the doors are not shut, and they're not sitting in an ivory tower. They are one of us.
Yeah. So thank you so much for making the time and putting some time aside to do the summary for us, because it means a lot. Thank you, darling.
Okay, darling. Any other questions?
Thanks, Margie. Just wanted to thank you. That was amazing.
I wish you a beautiful day.
Thank you, Margie.
Take care.
Thanks so much, Margie.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.